This ain't about nobody that came here 300 years ago. Our family fought through and lived through that. It's about the people that are here right now, not wanting us to know where we came from 300 years ago. Who would say, Brooklyn, would you like for us to bury your great-grandmother out here? You would be like, oh no, this don't look like a cemetery. But if this your family and you know you come from them woods, this is where you want to be. Where the strawberries are and the blueberries that you've been out here every day of your life. This is not being done from an early settler colonizer. This is done by a modern day, supposedly American.
We need to heal our family wounds so our family can play the role that it's supposed to play in the greater purpose, which is to heal the nation's wounds.
So diligence is the word of the day for me.
Pain travels through families until someone is ready to feel it. For many of us, our generational curse is avoidance. We come from people who just act like it didn't happen, but pain demands to be felt.
And as you know, in April, we announced that we were reviewing our position on the UN Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And today I can announce that the United States is lending its support to this declaration.
Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Just taking my mountain bike along some of the trails here in Tinton Falls, New Jersey. And someone had mentioned this to me earlier, that there was almost like an abandoned cemetery called Shadow's Rest off of Ruffin Court in Tinton Falls. It's closer to the border of Colts Neck.
This is just one of my family's burial grounds, which has been falsely recorded in history as an African-American cemetery.
I believe this was one of the first African-American graveyards or cemeteries in the area.
We still here. We never left.
Because of all the thousands of people that I've met over my years, conversations with people that look like African American people. And when you really get down to the nit and the grit of it and ask them, what's your ancestry? Oh, my grandma was a Cherokee, or my great-great-grandfather was, I think he was a Seminole. And because of the stolen heritage of American Indians with black blood and black people with Indian blood, I felt that it was time that black folks with Indian blood and Indian folks with black blood were able to come together as a people and not feel ridiculed, marginalized, or subjugated because they stood up and told the world who they are.
Come out your shells, turtles. The world's waiting.
Mama knew what she was talking about, but I always thought that she wanted to be something that we wasn't. And I remember I used to say, Mama, we be black.
Other than the cultural assimilation over the years, what's more respectful, being a Negro or a black man?
She said, I don't care if they see you was an Indian. I will never forget that. I was about 7 years old.
I know already where it came from, Africa.
I may be poor, but I am somebody.
African American, black, Negro, colored, mulatto, all brands placed on you by your oppressor to strip you of your nationality.
Somebody. Many of you really believe that you're inferior. You really believe that black is supposed to stay back and white is right. Many of you have given up on being first-class citizens. You've given up on 3 meals a day. You've given up because somebody has defined you as a white man's slave rather than God's child. You're not put here to be a white man's footstool. You're put here to represent the very best in God's word.
is our past history is. What is wrong with being referred to as a Negro?
I ain't saying I'm not black. I'm a Native American from this country.
A Native American from this country. But what does that truly mean?
I am going to share a true New Jersey story, a story that encompasses over 400 years of tradition and rich history, a true story of New Jersey natives that have contributed so much to New Jersey history, New Jersey lore, and our present successes too. They have been here in New Jersey for literally centuries. Then I'm going to share with you how that rich history is unfortunately now being rewritten. Why is New Jersey's Commission on Indian Affairs committing historical genocide?
Sometimes you can distinguish what the names are, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's just a stone that tells you that there were people buried there.
Blacks could not be buried alongside whites. That's how the law was. That's how it was during that time.
At the end of a cul-de-sac in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, a historic cemetery is slowly being reclaimed by nature.
Well, I think I can see some stones back here. It's been a while. I haven't been here in about 10 years.
Lawrence Walker is a historian who has studied some of the 60-plus African-American cemeteries in New Jersey.
A lot of rich history that is here. It's Americans' history.
He believes this particular one dates back as far as the 1700s.
This is historic ground right here. This is a historic cemetery. People ask me, well, why do you say that? Because of the prominent people that are buried right here in the cemetery. You have, from my records, you have good 30 veterans of the Civil War, United States colored troops that are buried there, World War I, World War II, most of them African American, as well as Native Americans that are buried in this cemetery. And prominent people within this community that probably escaped from the Underground Railroad. Some decided to settle right in this area and identify them, this is home, this is where I'm gonna stop running, you know.
You know what was so sad? I cried today. I read one of the papers that said in 1823, my ancestors, every one of them from Pine Brook, demanded to be freed. And one of my great-great-grandfathers, Peter Rock, got 1,800 acres of property.
You know, some things are probably covered up that will never be identified. And you're wiping out a lot of important history.
Red Bank, New Jersey, a small city nestled safely on the banks of the Navesink River. Red Bank was a fairly safe place to grow up, although like any other place in America.
Holy shit! This is fucking stupid! Whoa! What the fuck are you doing, dude? What are you doing?
We put an ad in a paper called the Red Bank Register. It was a woman in Highlands looking for a babysitter. I knock on the door, and the woman opens the door, and she's obviously dressed to go out for the evening, you know, decked out. She looks me up and down, up and down. She says, "What do you want?" And I said, "You know, I'm here to babysit." And she says, "You most certainly are not." And she slammed the door in my face.
Red Bank was originally formed as a town on March 17, 1870. On March 14, 1879, Red Bank became Shrewsbury City, a portion of Shrewsbury Township, but this only lasted until May 15, 1879. On March 10, 1908, Red Bank was formed as a borough by the act of the New Jersey legislature and was set off from Shrewsbury Township. The borough was named for the red soil along the Navesink River. Occupied by indigenous people for thousands of years, in historic times, the area of modern-day Red Bank was the territory of the Algonquin-speaking Lenape Native Americans, also called the Delaware by the English. The Lenape lived in the area between the Navesink River and the Shrewsbury River, in the area that they called Navarumps.
When the ancient ones arrived here, one of the things that probably caused their journey to end was the fact that the land ended. You know, this was the edge of the continent. This was where the sun rose, and therefore, this was the location of where we wound up. What caused us to spread out over Lenape-Hoking was probably just simply the plentiful nature of the food sources, the abundance in the forests, the abundance in the waterways, materials to make homes, clothing, everything that was needed.
Local Lenape and Nanticoke Indian tribes encountered European exporters and settlers as early as the middle 15 and 1600s. As the communities grew, many Indian families moved west and are located today in Oklahoma, Wisconsin, and Canada. The Rocks are one of the few families who remained.
Those of us who stayed, especially those of us who stayed here in southern New Jersey, have been referred to by tradition, by our northern relatives up in Canada, as the keepers of the land. That there were families that had partially assimilated, adopted Christianity. Some had gotten deeds to ancient lands that their families had been on for years, and they stayed put. And we are the remnant that stayed put. And the belief was that we would always hold on to the place where the dust of our ancestors' bones.
In this century, Red Bank has been home to two families descendant from the Lenape. The maternal grandparents of George Burlett and his sister, Susan Burlett, of 283 Bergen Place, were true, full-blooded Lenni Lenape. Throughout his mature years, George, who was nicknamed Papoose, was an employee of the station diner, which was located between Monmouth and Oakland Streets. The second Lenni Lenape descendant is Rose Rock, daughter of the late William E. Rock, publisher of the Red Bank Echo. His brother, the late Arnold, who died in 1976, owned and operated the Echo Press on West Bergen Place. Their grandmother was pure Lenni Lenape, born in Scobeyville.
The last speaker of Algonquin language in the Monmouth County area was my great-great-great-grandmother, Emma Rock. She was the last fluent Algonquin. She either spoke probably Unami and Munsee, probably both of those together. She was the last fluent speaker of the 50 nations, which is actually something special. Emma Rock, she lived to be 104 or 106. She was I think she was the pipe holder. She held the sacred pipe. And from what I heard, her hair grew all the way down to the back of her legs. She grew up in Scobeyville, New Jersey, which is Monmouth County, which is kind of in the mid area between Marlboro and probably Colts Neck nowadays. So that's right around the corner from where I grew up.
We go back a long time in Red Bank anyway. My grandfather had the print shop in Red Bank for all the years that he did. As long as I can remember. I was thrown behind the print shop, the machines, picking up type, learning the business of what printing was all about. Okay. When we lost my grandfather in 1976, it was like a heartbreak for us. And it was all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Through the days and the months, we have been looking into our history. Okay, even when I take the census report or fill out job applications, I put Native American, not Afro-American. Okay, because we are from the first limbs of the Lenape Indians. Right. Okay, so that bloodline runs right through us. Direct descendants. Okay, so most of us are still in the area. We have a few that are outside of the area, but what I'm saying, and people show up. I'm just glad to be here. I'm glad to know who my people really are. Okay? Because I think it's very important today who the world is. Okay? In the meantime, enjoy yourself. Thanks for putting this on Facebook. But it's been a beautiful day so far for me. You know what I mean? I wouldn't change it for the world.
We always knew who we were when we were kids.
We're always proud of Uncle Arnold.
Our family in particular, we're documented as one of the oldest 3 families that was on record as being here when the Europeans established their first colony, which was Middletown, which is on the northern bank of the Navesink River. The southern bank of the Navesink River is a town called Red Bank. That's where I'm from.
The Lenape diaspora, their traditional homeland, actually ranges from southeastern New York, all of the state of New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, and for the most part, eastern Delaware. So you look at the Delaware River Basin, and that is the traditional homeland of the Lenape. The northern tier of that geography was the home of the Munsee. The Munsee means people of the rocks and the stones. The people of the rocks and the stones. The people of the rocks and the stones.
Now, could you tell me that story again about the Indians? During the slide part, let me stop 1 second. I think that would be good as far as the start of the story.
Okay.
To start way back when the Indians.
You want that about the rock?
Yeah.
I wrote a little poem called Spook Rock. I am just an old rock. They all call me Spook. In Ringwood for centuries, just west of Mine Brook. From the manor and forges on the road to Stump Hill, many stories I could tell you, although I stood still. In the Ramapos, I remember the people roamed free. They were called Indians, the Lenapes.
Your grandmother used to make cornpipe pipes and sit in the backyard and smoke out of them. She had snow white hair. Her hair was all the way down to her ankles.
Wow.
And she could make them pipes out of a piece of corn on the cob. That's how she used to make her pipes.
Wow.
My father, I used to be like, I'm scared of it. My father would say, get on over there, girl. That's your great-grandmother. And I would have to go on over there and sit on her lap. She used to make rocking chairs, too.
Wow.
Yeah. When they lived way up in the Catskills.
First occupied by Native Americans more than 5,000 years ago, the Catskill Mountains are an extension of the Appalachian Mountains all the way into upstate New York.
Way up in the Catskills.
Way up
on the borderline from New Jersey, I could step on one sidewalk and be in New Jersey and cross my foot on the other side and be in New York. They used to ride horses and stuff. Beautiful, beautiful. They used to grow hogs. Used to have me outside throwing mud and dirt and all that stuff on them. Yeah.
Wow.
They had outhouses. They ain't have no bathroom. You peed in a pan, a pee pan.
Wow.
Yes. And I used to cry because I didn't want to stay. Because it was way out there in the damn woods. And no lights, no nothing, child. But me and my little brother Pat, God bless him, used to have to stay up there every summer.
Wow.
And I met my grandfather's father. And when their hair turned white, it turned white as snow.
Wow.
When it started turning colors, yeah. And they rode horses, and they did it all. They grew their own food. They had chickens. You had cousins that looked at white, but was blacker than black, but nappy ass hair.
Wow.
And I used to think, that ain't my cousin. My father said, I don't know why it ain't. They look white, but they black. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And when it snowed, it snowed. Snow way up to your waist. You was trapped in snow. And it's cold up there where we was. And that would seem like that was an all-day journey, just getting there. Yeah. But, yeah, we got a history.
Yeah. Great history.
Yeah, we got a good history.
Yep.
A strong bloodline.
Indeed.
It's Lenape and Blackwood.
And Blackfoot.
We are the rocks they could not remove. And our voice, that's the echo that reverberates through these eastern woodlands. And this is our story.
You are now listening to the sound of the beat dealer.
Red Bank, New Jersey. It's a lot of history in this small town.
Let's get into this shit.
We all family in this.
History shows we've been here before. Anyone else
touch the shore, let me adjust the score, make things right. This land of ours is our birthright. I shed light where the sun don't shine, give sight to the blind, help them see and find they bloodlines divine. You remember the time our ancestors were in line with space and time. Agriculture's our culture, be one with nature. Take a look in the mirror and see the creator. We come from the maker, so be the owner, sole controller. The lies they told us can't hold us. A scholar and a soldier is what you are. Shoot for the stars, got proof this is ours. The truth is in the scars, the world is yours. The world is yours. My family, my tribe, we rocks, we survive. We still here, won't die. We alive, head up high, put your wings up and fly. Head up high, put your wings up and fly. My family's my tribe, we rocks, we survive. We still here, won't die. We alive, head up high, put your wings up and fly. Head up high, put your wings up and fly. We still here, not going nowhere. Stand on our square.